Welcome back to our discussions on Altinity.cloud. Today, we're going to show how to create a new cluster. This cluster I would label as a minimally viable cluster. It's just enough to show for the example, that way you get an idea of the settings and just how it works. For complete details on cluster settings and other information, check out the Altinity documentation site. The link will be in the description field. One thing to note before we start is that these values can be modified later on. You can start as small as you need, then rescale your cluster if you find you need more details or more power, or change the version of ClickHouse running on your nodes. We're going to assume that you've already logged into your Altinity.cloud account and that you're in the clusters view. All that we have to do from here is click Launch Cluster to start the new cluster process. The first page in the process is Resources Configuration. This is where we will set the name of our cluster and the resources. A quick note here, the resources here are all set per cluster node. So when you set the number of processors, the volume amount, and so on, that's set for each node in the cluster. To create our new cluster, the first thing we need is a name. The cluster name must be DNS compliant. Alphanumeric characters, can't start with a number, and no special characters either, no question marks or tildes or anything like that. The cluster name is used as part of the host name for our cluster. This way, you can connect to it remotely via the host name. Next up is the node type. This sets the number of processors and the RAM for each node. The next step is the amount of storage. Again, this is per node. The default as of this time is 100 gigabytes, but for our small example, let's shrink this down to just 30. I think the storage space of 30 billion floppy disks will be just enough for our demonstration cluster. The number of volumes depends on your particular situation and how you configure your ClickHouse databases. In some cases, having multiple volumes allows for better performance. We'll have guides for best practices on the Altinity documentation site, or feel free to reach out to one of our representatives if you have questions. Volume type. This determines if the volumes are encrypted or unencrypted. Pretty simple there. The number of shards. We're just going to set it to 1 for our minimally viable cluster, but again, pick the value that works best for your needs and your requirements. ClickHouse version. You can select from several different ClickHouse versions, such as an Altinity ClickHouse stable release, or your own custom version. We'll keep it simple and just use an Altinity stable release for our demonstration. The last part is the password. By default, a username admin is created for your cluster. Set your password, type it in twice. You probably know the drill by now. Make it secure. Don't use your date of birth. You know who you are. Don't do that. Make it secure. All right, great. Everything's filled in. Click Next. Next page, high availability. This is where we set the number of replicas for your cluster shards. We'll leave it at 2 for the demonstration. Now, this setting only applies if you have data replication enabled. If you don't enable data replication, then don't worry about this field. Your Zookeeper configuration is based on what you're using your cluster for. Development cluster, single node is just fine. If you're looking for a production system, you might want to increase your nodes. For node placement, separate nodes is just fine for our example. Last is the enable backup settings. It's on by default, let's leave it as it is. If everything looks good, click Next. The next page is connection configuration. By now, you'll see the entire host name that will be assigned to your cluster. This is why the host name has to be DNS compliant. We're going to leave TNS enabled, and we're going to use Altinity Edge Ingress as the load balancer type. Again, if you need more details on the settings, please check out our Altinity documentation site. And that's it. We're ready for final review. If everything looks good, click Launch, and the cluster will be created. Depending on the size and the complexity of your cluster, this process may take as few as a few minutes or longer. From the cluster's view page, you can see whether your new cluster is available at a glance by looking at the health check and the nodes online fields. If everything is green, then you're good to go. We'll take a short break while our cluster builds and be right back. Welcome back. As you can see, all the health checks have passed, and our nodes are available. We're ready to go. From here, we can start making queries either from within the Altinity.cloud interface or through some remote connection tools like the ClickHouse client, the Python operators, whatever method that you use. You can either do it from within Altinity.cloud or without. That's going to be it for this video. Make sure you're subscribed to be notified of new videos. If you want more information, visit our Altinity documentation site or the resources page for webinars, blog posts, and other events. Until next time, happy coding.